Kawasaki. Everybody bring it in. Guys, have a safe ride. Everybody get back here safely. You guys count us off. 1, 2, 3. Big Kawasaki from everybody. 1, 2, 3.
Big Kawasaki! Oh, I thought it was a big Kawasaki.
Bring it back.
Well, hello there in YouTube land, and welcome back to the channel. And today we're at the Mainland Cycle Center, and we're at the Kawasaki demo, Good Times demo tour, and we're about to test ride this beauty. Look at that. This is a beautiful bike. It's one of those bikes that you feel like you need to have one of those in your stable. Now, I've ridden the Z900 RS before, but not the Cafe one. I think it's exactly the same thing, except it has a little fairing. So let's see what it is. I thought it was gonna have some clip-ons. And now this bike's a little bit tall. And the clutch is just so smooth, very smooth clutch. Not as much as the as that one, the Ninja 1000. That one you didn't even feel the clutch. Oh yeah, that's a nice sound. I love me an inline 4. Now this bike.
Guys, we all set, ready to go. I need big thumbs up from everyone. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. All right, listen carefully for the name of your bike before the party. It's Kawasaki Good Times Demo Tour. So the Good Time Pro. So Ninja 1000 SS, RS, Cafe, Vulcan 900.
Oh, this is comfortable, and it's smooth, and it's an awesome big boy bike. Okay, so the first things that you notice on this bike, the mirrors are good, and they're good looking. They're not as bad, but maybe I would definitely put some bar-end mirrors on this, because I think it would be a benefit. It would look a lot better. The dash thing here, same thing. They haven't changed it, or at least on this bike. I don't know if it's a 24. I think they brought the 23s on this demo, because they don't have all the new ones, like the hybrids and all that stuff. But this thing, it's just so plasticky and cheap. And then I don't know, the dash, I would change it. I would keep maybe the design, but the elements, it just doesn't feel very premium as compared to, let's say, the Triumphs, which this bike is competing against, because it's a retro style, upright positioned naked bike, retro cafe, whatever, I don't know. So that's the only thing that I don't like about this bike. Everything else feels so premium. The paint job is beautiful. The little fairing, I'm not a fan of this bikini fairing type of bikes, but this one is so beautiful and so very well put together that I love it. The little blinker things, they're not very retro, so maybe you'd have something. But that's another thing about the good thing about this type of bikes. You buy them, you want to customize them, you want to make them your own, you want to feel that you're part of the building process. Everything on this bike feels good. I love being on this bike, so let's see how it rides. So this one is an inline 4, and it does have the same engine as on the regular Z900. Oh man, now this bike has some pep. Oh, I forgot to ask if it has. No, it does not. It does not have a quick shifter, so that's something that you would need on a bike like this. Can't see anything. I can't see anything because my visor, if you can see, no you can't. Well, my visor, I have my pin lock, but if I get on a little tuck, if I want to go fast, I need to move my head up like this. I don't know. It's not helping. Anyway, I love being on this bike. This bike feels very smooth. It's a little bit tall, but the riding position, it is different from the Z900 RS regular, because you do have a little bit more of a sporty stance. So I think it's just the way the handlebars are set, because I believe that the foot controls are on the same place, and they don't feel like a boring regular mid position. They do feel a little sporty. So who would this bike be for? So obviously for somebody who likes the retro style of these bikes, but I think it also has to be somebody who knows what he's doing. You can't just be a beginner and get on a bike like this, because I was explaining it has the same as I think it's 940 something cc's, inline 4 liquid cooled dual overhead cam engine that it has on the Z900. It's almost a liter bike. Now this one is tuned a little bit different, so it doesn't give you the whole horsepower as the regular Z900, but it gives you a little bit more down low on the torque. Now it has these little fins on the side of the engine to look like it's a liquid, like an air-cooled old-school engine, but they're just for show. It's actually a liquid-cooled engine, and then you can see the radiator down here, which is not really hidden from view or anything. So yeah. Now we have a cop in front of us. So but this one does have a little bit of electronics. It does have the traction control from Kawasaki. I don't know if we have rider mode. No, I don't think it has rider mode. All right. I love this bike. It just feels so good to be riding it. And then you have this big seat that it's an old style seat, but it just gives you a lot of options on where you want to sit. Let's say you get on a long trip and you're tired, you can even sit on the passenger place and be nice, just relaxing. And it moves from side to side very well. It's not the nimblest bike, but it doesn't feel heavy. It just feels right. It feels, for everyday commuting, I think this bike would be awesome. The only thing is, I don't know if we'll have to check what type of bag you can put on it that will still keep with the aesthetics of the bike, because it's such a pretty bike and it's very old school looking. If you put just a regular tail bag that is sporty, I don't think it's going to go with it. But it does have, I mean, some room to improve, especially since a bike like this, a retro style bike, needs a little bit more character than an inline 4 would do. So I don't know what type of exhaust you could have to make it give a little bit more of a roar instead of that high pitch that the inline 4s give. But for me, I don't know, I like the inline 4s and I like the high pitch, so I'm having trouble. Because the Speed Twin has always been on my list for the best retro that I want to buy. I don't know, but this one, it just sounds great, feels great.
You smell great, and you look great, and your hair's great.
It ticks all the boxes. And then the price, it's competitive. Although I don't know why it's so much more than the regular Z900. I'm pretty sure Kawasaki can come up with a better price on this, but they just didn't want to. They just chose to, oh, you want the aesthetics, then boom, you have to pay for them. I don't know what happened to this dude who was jumping on that bike. I don't even know what that bike is. I thought it was a Z900, but maybe this dude is just huge and it feels like it's on a 650. But this bike is, as I was saying, ticks all the boxes. Great engine, great look, right? Comfortable, but sporty. You can do anything on this bike. You can commute every day and look like a badass, like an old school badass. You can take it on twisties and it's gonna handle and perform and outperform most super sports, or maybe just give them a run for their money. And then it's so comfortable. The seat is so comfortable, and the seating position as well. Everything about this bike is so comfortable. You can go touring. I'm pretty sure. That's the only thing I would have to do is like find out what type of bag you can have for this. And then it's fast enough to I don't know, to put a grin on your face if you're going either having fun on the freeway or going on the twisties. This bike would definitely put a smile on your face. Now the clutch is adjustable here, as well as the lever here for the brake. But those are things that you can change because they keep them like that, maybe to keep the cost down. It's not the prettiest levers ever. And the brakes have some bite, but they're a little bit squishy. That's another thing that maybe to consider. The master cylinder here would be a good option to change. Because yeah, the brake, I mean, they're good, but not the best. Although, well, it depends on what type of riding you want to do. You don't want to be over stressing this bike at all, because I think it's so beautiful. You want to keep it for a long time. It's not a bike that you buy and then you use and then you want to get rid of. It's a bike that you want to customize. It's a bike that you want to hold on for. So maybe, yeah, you don't need to change the brakes or anything, because you're not going to stress it out. You're not going to go and try to outperform anybody. Or you shouldn't. I mean, you can and you could, but you shouldn't. I love the sound. I love it. But the best thing about this bike is the look. So we'll do a walk around video so you guys can see it, because, well, it's worth it. It's worth it. And this paint scheme, this color scheme is great. So what else about this bike? The tires also are pretty sporty, and they're very good. So they didn't cut corners on this bike at all. Maybe those little, this thing, that's it. Everything else is pretty premium. I would love to have a comparison and ride them back to back, this one and the Speed Twin, especially if you can go and take them on a little twisty road, and then you can decide which bike is better performance wise, because aesthetics wise, I mean, both of them, they're top tier. I don't think there are any other bikes that are not cruisers that are better looking. Because the only better looking bikes than these, and this is me, my opinions, and you can have your own opinions and make your own damn videos. Anyway, the only bikes that are better looking than the retros are the cruisers. Yeah, no quick shifter, no down blipper. That's something that I would definitely want. And I'm spoiled because I never had one before. I didn't think I'd need them, but now that I have my Suzuki with a quick shifter and blipper, I need it. It's just so comfortable to ride with those, especially when you're giving the bike the beans. It's a lot more, well, it's a lot more stable. It's a lot faster and quicker to engage. So yeah, I would definitely do some research and see if you can put, now, not only the quick shifter, because the downshifts as well. I don't want to have a quick shifter up and then not have it down. It's like, why have it halfway? Now this bike, believe me, it's going on the list. It is definitely going on the list. Now Yamaha came out with the XSR, which would be a competitor for this bike, and I like the original one. I don't like the 80s 90s looking one now that they have. And then the GP model that they just did, I would have to see it in the flesh, because right now I would rather have a bike like this than that one. We're still waiting for that R9, and what they did is they came up with this MotoGP version, which is like, no, That's not what we want. If we want a retro bike, I think this is the type of bike that we want. Although, well, it's good to have options, right? For some people, well, maybe they were fans of MotoGP in the 80s and 90s, and sort of looks like one of those. This one does look more like a cafe racer. Now, what other bikes are there that look like cafe racers? And because Ducati used to have one, but I haven't seen a cafe racer scrambler anymore. That was a pretty bike, and that bike looked better in the flesh than it did in the pictures. But this one does as well. I think the suspension is also very good because it's very sporty. So there are no other bikes that I would... just as I was about to say, there are no other bikes that are retro that I would consider except the Speed Twin and this one. But then I remember the Honda CB1000, that is not really a cafe type racer looking thing, but it is, they call it what, the neo retro? I forget, because everybody has like old new stuff. It's like, come on, man, enough with the oxymorons. But I saw one of those CB1000s, and it was customized, and it looked really good, and it just had a few little twitches. So yeah, I can't say that I wouldn't rather just have one of those, because it's going to be a lot faster than this one. But I don't think you're buying these bikes to be faster than anybody. You're buying these bikes to look cooler than anybody, which is, yeah, a little ridiculous on but I don't know, I like looking cool, and this bike looks cool, and I'm pretty sure you look cool riding it. But you need the proper gear too. You have to consider, you can't just buy a retro style bike and not wear the retro style gear. Now correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, it's it has to be part of the look. You need a different leather jacket and all that good stuff. Yeah, I like this bike. This bike is nice. It's nice, I like. I love the sound of the engine. Oh, here, I hit the ABS again. I think it was on the same place. And I think it's more the traction control hitting, because there's some gravel there. So it's one of those things that you don't feel like you need them on a bike like this, but it's always good to have all these traction control elements and the ABS. Obviously, it's not going to have cornering ABS or any of that fancy stuff, which is something that, yeah, of course you would need, but I wouldn't pay a lot more for it. So just the way it is, I think it's enough. Well, you have this little minivan on not letting us enjoy our ride. But I think that's it for today's video, guys. Well, remember, if you like the video, to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell button, and share it with all your friends. You don't like the video, well, share it with all your enemies. And I'll see you guys on the next one.